All right. Well, welcome to the Hazel Park Amateur Radio Club, Amateur Radio Digital Communications. And we are now at this point vendor selection. So this is the fun part. This is where it starts getting fun because we have our RFQ with all our requirements, and they are a bit detailed, perhaps, but I think it will serve us well, particularly when we have to go to the landlord. We're going to do these two things simultaneously. We'll go down vendor selection. I guess it should have here said also, and while we're doing that, we'll get landlord approval, which I don't think is going to be a particular issue. They seem very willing to work with us. All right, oops, hold on, hold on. It's all about pushing the right buttons, as you know. All right, so it comes down to this. And it's an interesting question when you think about it. It boils down to, do we hire professionals or amateurs? Ooh, well, when you phrase it that way, it doesn't quite come out right. But these are two organizations that I have to say really deserve recognition as being at the top of their field. They're a little bit different. On the left, you have MCA Services, which is it's a commercial company, and they do this stuff every single day, in and out and in and out. They have a vast array, and it's a terrific company. But at the same time, we have the Central Michigan Emergency Network. And they too, for an organization made up of volunteers, very, very impressive. So we're just going to talk quickly about each one. And our goal is to have this wrapped up by the end of the week so we can begin to move forward. I will say this, there's two things. First of all, availability may be an issue. But the second thing is, I will tell you, certainly the end of July and August are not your peak days to be working on a roof. So, it's like January, February. You don't really want to be out on the roof then. So this, we'll see. Well, let's see what happens. We're sending out our RFQ and I hope everybody who is interested got a chance to look at it, and there was a lot of great feedback, and I'm still got to integrate some of that feedback into it. But I know we wanted to get this out right away, so I started sending them out today. All right, so the Central Michigan Emergency Network. This is Fred Moses, and the gang there, and these are some of the what they're most famous for. I mean, look, it's an amateur radio organization like no other I've ever seen. I mean, I'm going through their website. I have to say, these guys are dedicated people. Dedicated people. This is what their current their current network looks like. We'd be filling in the gap up in here somewhere. This is US 23. I guess this is Ann Arbor, so we'd be filling in a gap probably somewhere in that area, I suppose. But anyway, if we were to join their network, but we see we're not that their strength is this network, which is absolutely brilliant. Whoever, well, the group that worked on it are definitely have a leg ahead of everybody else. So here's what their VHF repeater network coverage looks like. This is us. We're not really Troy, but we're kind of in this area here. So we could add a little red to this map. That wouldn't be a bad thing to do, and then we could be interlinked with these other places there. And I'm surprised not to see much around Ann Arbor. Of course, this is VHF, so. But anyway, that's what we're talking about here. I mean, look at this. I mean, come on. These are amateur radio operators came up with this and put this together, and it's I way over my head at this point, but I would love to be able to spend some time learning about it. And it has a great look and great feel to it, and all that. So that's what this is. And oh, so here's some. This is just some photos off their website. So they hire the guys, the tower climbers, I believe, or I believe this, yeah, steeplejack. So this is at their operations center there, emergency operations center. And now this is a job I would love to have. I mean, just being up there and pointing a dish. I mean, look at the size of this clip right here. So this is serious stuff. But again, this is that same organization. These are, I, I'm not sure who's who or who represents it, and if we did a deal with them, who would be our interface and what they look after and what they don't, and all that stuff. But this, I believe, is Fred Moses sitting here, and this is the team. This guy's going to be climbing up that tower there at Williamston. And it looks something like this, and you can see they're bringing that dish up. Of course, ours isn't as isn't as exotic, but I mean, this is kinds of things that they do. They're no strangers
The
to.
last the last picture had names at the bottom of it.
Oh, right here. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Jeff. I don't know them. KB8 SWR Jeff and KC8PUN. Huh.
Yeah, Fred Moses is sitting in the chair.
That is Fred, right? That's what I thought. Yeah, yeah. So. And these guys, yeah, he's getting ready. I do know he's getting ready to climb up that tower. So, and you can tell, look at the gear he's got. So he, I believe, is a professional, but the rest of the crew there, or maybe not. You know what? I don't know. It actually doesn't look like it. It looks like he's KB8 SWR, if you want my opinion. Anyway, okay.
Well,
Uh,
I do have one question, seeing
yeah.
that you're showing and now's the perfect time because you're showing the tower. That group there, do they have complete liability and workman's comp insurance?
Well, we do not know the answer to that, and
Uh,
that's one of the things we're going to
if
investigate.
the answer is no, then we don't want them.
Right, and the landlord wouldn't allow it either, so that's a whole other drama. But so anyway, but I will say these guys, I I I love what they do and terrific. I mean, think about it, okay? I mean, listen, these are enthusiasts who do this,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I give them a lot of credit, a lot of credit there.
Yep.
Oh, and here he is calling out the signals to everybody. But I think this is important just to look and see some of these equipment racks, what, the kind of work they do. Here's something, this is similar to the antenna we had, remember on the roof of the school, how we had it, and actually at the airport, where we have the plywood sheets with the cinder blocks holding it down and hoping it doesn't fly away. And this is pretty impressive. I'm not sure what this is, some sort of an FM or a hot UHF or something or other. Maybe it's even a 5G. I don't know, but it may be a circularly polarized or something. Who knows? And
Yeah,
then here's the dish. So, listen, these guys have been around the block. They
the
know what's
folded loop, folded dipole, like what, 8 bays?
is
Probably
it. Yeah,
UHF.
yeah, yeah. It's hard. The picture's a little fuzzy. And this I zoomed in on to make it big. But yeah, you're right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bays. Yeah, there's a bit of gain, in that there. Yeah. Okay, and this is just an example of the work that they do, which is the same work we do in terms of cabling. And we got, when we rebuild, that's not part of this project, but we need to be starting really soon on the next phase of this. So now that we're done with field day and John's back with us and all that, so we can start that portion of it, the equipment. But anyway, so then we have these people who are, as they say, offering peace of mind. And here we have this company here, which it was originally a CompScope. And we know them because this rack right here with their sticker on it, which is where we got this picture, is right next to our rack, right next to the Dart up there. So they were originally ComSource, and but no longer. Now they're MCA, Mobile Communications, and this is a top notch. First of all, a platinum Motorola service provider. So of course we're Motorola people. I consider myself one anyway. The Dart is Motorola and all of that. So this, and they do like educational communities, churches and stuff like that and other. So they've pretty much seen it all. They run microwave networks for God's sakes. Maybe I don't know. Maybe some of them want to join our club. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure these folks, obviously, they're in the business. They know stuff. So I don't know. But anyway, so this is the stuff they do. Motorola Solutions. They do installations and stuff. We're not interested really in the. Although I'd be interested in what it is, the microwave network that they run. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're running a microwave network, an IP-based microwave network. They do it commercially. That we do it as enthusiasts there. So,
And do they offer maintenance and upkeep? Is there a contract, service contract that will provide
I,
any
I,
needed support?
Al, I hear you, but I hear a radio in the background louder than I hear you. Say that again, please. Al?
He's muted.
Okay, there you are.
You're on mute.
There you go. I'm
We
sorry,
had,
Al. Say it again. Yeah, you got drowned out by that radio in the background.
yeah, it was a double nickel. Anyhow, do they offer any kind of maintenance and upkeep? Do they have a contract? Are they gonna be there for support? Or
Yeah.
either entity for that matter.
Well, these guys certainly do. These guys, I mean, that's the, I'm just going to their, I'll show you what I am talking
The
about.
only thing that we're gonna be using them for is to put the mast up and the antenna. I don't see any reason that they would have to do maintenance or anything like that if that's all they're doing for us.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, Hugh. I mean, what we're doing in their world is like teeny tiny, you know what I mean? So, but the thing is I don't know, it's just interesting to make contact with these guys. They This is what they do for a living. Yes, they have managed services, they have service level agreement. I mean, this is one of the number one. They're Motorola Platinum, so that's where I get all my. So what
Jeff,
can
I
I
have
say?
one question. You said they did that installation that rack you showed the picture of. There's
I'm
one
sorry,
thing
which one?
missing. You showed a picture of the rack. Yeah, that rack.
Oh, this one. Oh, this one
That,
here, you mean?
that was one they did?
Yes.
Okay, because one thing's missing that I would expect to see on a good installation, and that's labeling of those cables. I'm looking at
Okay,
this, and
first
those
of all,
cables look like a snake pit back there, and they're not labeled.
yeah. Well,
And that's a shoddy installation.
yeah. Who's speaking?
It's Mark.
Oh, Mark. Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that's a shoddy installation if that's a professional installation.
certainly this is better than the other one. Well,
Right. And even that one's not really pristine.
How much of that was done after they were gone? You know,
Yeah, but there's not a single label on anything that you'd never, something happened up there, a cable got torn, you'd never know where it came from.
right,
Yeah,
right.
that doesn't look much more neat and tidy than the Dart in its current state right now.
And the only
You wanna-
reason
If
I
you want
even
to see,
mentioned, oh, I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
Al. I was
Okay,
just
if you
saying, the
want to
only
see,
reason I mention it is if you're going to consider them, I would expect something better than what I'm seeing there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely we would expect. Well, first of all, we're not asking them to do that. We're not asking them to do anything in our rack. We think we want to do that, and that like the idea was we'll build it in Len's garage there. We'll lay it out. We'll do a cable drawings. It's we need to determine exactly at what level uh we want to do this. I mean, you could do it totally professionally with the cable tray, the cable lists and sheets and doing, labeling everything with beautiful. I mean, listen, it's an art form. I know. I started my career in that business, and it's an art form.
Pull
Cable
up, pull up
by-
Collins repeater, W8CMC. Pull up his QRZ page and look at his repeater rack. And that is the bar. That is what we want to set our standard to.
Let me
And he
see.
has,
What is it
W8C
again?
on
What am I-
QRZ, W8 cash my check is his call
Yeah.
sign.
Just might check it out. Give it to what's the beginning?
Whiskey 8, cash my check.
Oh,
That's a good one.
let's see. Let's take a look. Well, look at him. You see right off, he's a character.
He's a repeater nut.
Uh, what am I looking for? Oh wow, look at these pictures.
You'll see it. That's his tower.
Oh,
See
look
the
at
folded bays? They're
those.
using folded bays, so
Yeah, look at
folded
that.
die.
Wow.
Oh, see, yeah, that's beautiful.
Look at this. Is there a picture of the back of it? Maybe. Look at that. That is very. That's you are. Let's go back. Yes, this is. We would like to hand off to the next generation a little better wiring than we were handed. But of course, over the years, that's what happens. But right, if we could,
You know what's a shame about this repeater, the W8DET at 145.110? It's on top of the old Ameritech building on the Lodge and Oakman or
oh
Oakwood.
yeah,
Yeah, right down there by the Davison.
yeah,
And nobody, this repeater, if you scroll down, you can see the coverage map. Nobody, absolutely nobody uses this repeater. Nobody uses it. Very little traffic. And it would be an ideal location for the dart. I didn't, it's too bad we couldn't have, maybe perhaps worked something out with Colin because this repeater sits dormant 99% of the time.
wow. You
It's
know who would be
unfortunate. It's beautiful too.
the radio club at Detroit City Airport might be interested in coming involved in that. It's right in their neck of the woods, And
Yeah, it's
it's a
definitely
great,
underused.
and I know exactly what you're talking about. That is a landmark, when, right there. And I remember as a kid, my dad, the Lodge Freeway, that was like a big deal. That was before they did the extension up James Cousins, but
You remember the big yellow pages ad on the side of the building.
right. And it would be blue if it was getting colder and red if it's getting hotter. And anyway, all right. Back
I didn't
to,
know anybody ever remembered that.
yeah.
That was a long time ago.
You gotta, you know what? That's how you know if you're from Detroit or not. If you realize the little yellow pages thing there. Anyway, look at the dog. Very nice.
That's his dog.
All right. Oh yes. Okay, anyway, yes, we definitely would like to do something that looks like this, and I'll use this. If I can, I would love to use this as an example for us to look at. And listen, doing the rack is a whole thing. So, but let's get through our dilemma, and 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 we'll do that anyway. Okay. All right. So here's where we stand right now. So have we everybody? Let me see. Do I even? Oh, I can't believe I don't even have it open here. Can you believe that? Hold on just a second here. Oh, geez, where do I have it? Stand by. Let me just get it open. I apologize for not doing my homework just exactly the right way there. Okay, so Dart. So just a second here. Okay, here, grant proposals to. Okay, so here it is. Okay, I got it. Okay. Oh my God, I got so many. So if you haven't seen this before, it's on the webpage, or I could send it to you personally, but this is what we're sending out. This is what it looks like. It's just who we are, basically, right? The work to be performed. I mean, basically, what we're really asking, let me just zoom in a minute. What we're really asking is if you look, hold on. If you look right here on this drawing here, so here's our existing antenna. Right now, there's the unistrut is there already. So, and that's left over from the phone companies, right? So listen, that's going to be a piece of cake, frankly. But let's let them take a look at it. They installed it, so they should know. They know the rooftop. It's their rooftop, or it was. I don't know what the deal is now, but anyway, so that's the general idea there. And this is what it used to look like. You see that unistrut is to hold up this cable riser right here. So, and you can see if you zoom in, you can see these mounting brackets. That's what we're talking about there. So, and the VHF antenna replaced that basically, put in the heliacs and terminated in type N connectors. And we need to get fitted with PL2 259 adapters. Now, whether we have them provide the adapters or we provide I don't care. I mean, whatever makes the most sense. But the thing is, if they could make it PL259 ready, we can plug it. That's what plugs into the duplexers there. At least the duplexers we currently have, which will be eventually changed out. Okay. And then, so then we talk about the UHF antenna, which, by the way, is in good shape, but it too is 5, 6, 7 years old. So, this whole project has a 25-year life expectancy. So, listen, for $200, uh, listen, I just replace it and everything is brand new. That's what I think. But if other people think otherwise, I'm open to that. And then finally, we have the grounding system here. Right. And for this, which I appreciate, this is where the feedback came. There's a lot of feedback in here, by the way, from everybody, and thank everybody for doing that. Mike, VPC, pointed out that we focus a lot on the antenna. We didn't focus on the grounding system, for God's sake. So yeah, so we need to build up that ground system, make sure that the antennas are connected to one unified ground system. I mean, you're up that high, you're 155 feet above the ground, right? So, what is there to really ground the system to? I think it's the steel framework of the building. It is steel, but we'll let the professionals do that. I mean, listen, we're not the only antenna on a rooftop, so I'm sure it's all been figured out. So, and so that's what this is all talking about. This is the antenna that we want to go with here. The Telwave antenna, it's very beefy and has good wind ratings. We want to talk about the idea how we want to mount. We want to anchor to the steel beams as we've talked about. So let them price that out. We want them. Listen, this is sloppy. I don't want to say that. It's unnecessary to have extra transmission line like that. So we would like it cut and fitted so it looks nice. And then these are our timeline. FCC licensing will take care of that, delivery and storage. So they'll have to lift it up off the ground, get it up to the roof. That's what we're basically saying there. We'll deal with coordination, all that stuff, and so on and so forth. So I mean, I'm not going to go through all of this, but at the very, very end, a good point was made. In writing this, sometimes it's so down in the weeds. It's like you don't get a good perspective. But it's like I thought, well, we should test it before we lift it to the roof. And normally, yes, we would. But I think in this case, it's not like we're going to the top of, a 1,000-foot tower or something. So let them put everything together, and then when when they're done with their work, they'll hand it off to us. We'll do a test. It confirmed that we have 50 ohm and so on and a low SWR. and then we can write the check and shake hands and have a great day. So anyway, that's what we're looking at. Do we have any specific questions that I can? We'll have more information. I'm hoping by this time next week, because we'll start hearing back from our two candidates here. Wait, our two candidates here, and we'll, you know, listen. It's great. It's great to be in a position where you can't decide between two good, really good organization. So I encourage you, if you don't really go to the websites, please check out their websites. That's MCA, which is what does that stand for? That stands for something. And Seamen. Okay. Take a perusing, take a look there. I'll keep you updated. By this time, I'm hoping to have some quotes back. So
Curious, Joe, what are the two vendors' roles exactly? Is it just putting up an antenna,
yeah.
or are you planning on joining a linked network system that is linked to another 30 or 40 other repeaters across the state?
Well,
Like Hugh said, we're not using either one as a service, but it looks like both of them are, formatted like that, or that's what they provide basically. So that's why I was curious. If we're going to use either one of them, are they going to provide the upkeep? Are they going to warranty it? Are they going to guarantee it? Are they going to ensure the installation? Who's going to ensure the antenna until it gets to the mounting point of, damage? I guess, the contractor perhaps, but I'm just curious, what exactly are the contractors doing? Are they just putting up the antenna, or are we joining a whole system?
well, here's how I understand it. First of all, MCA is a complete turnkey uh, offer, basically. They'll do it all, whatever, as much or as little as we need to be done. My guess is they may be a little bit on the pricey side, but they manage everything. They manage, all of the insurances, the bonds, because we're working on somebody else's, the landlord's building. Since they put in the installations that are already up there, they're familiar with the building and the management. So they have that going for them. We would be hiring them merely to install new antennas and heliacs and terminate that heliacs and drop it off to us in the form of an end connector or a PL259 adapter or whatever. And that's all we're really asking. And I know maybe we're blowing this a little bit up out of, On the other hand, the Central Michigan Emergency Network. Now that is a very interesting outfit, without a doubt. I mean, this is an amateur radio. It's basically an IP network using amateur radio links and amateur radio frequencies. Although I don't think everything is 100% amateur radio frequencies, there may be some public in there a little bit, but anyway. So and it's listen, this was written by one of the members there, one of the guys working on it. So these are, serious enthusiasts who are putting together this incredible network and obviously are pretty well dedicated to the whole thing in terms of supporting it and expanding it. One of the accomplishments that they've recently made is you can see, look at this gap, and there is an RF link between these points here, and also extending out to the west. So, I mean, frankly, it doesn't matter. You choose one, you choose the other, you're going to do okay, frankly. So I
Yep.
would really be open to hear your feedback, and not just immediate feedback of this minute, but if you could drop a note throughout the week by Friday, I'd like to have a more or less of a decision made, and I hope we get some sort of an estimate back, proposal back. within a week. Sometimes it's 2 weeks. You know, these guys are busy. It is summer, all that sort of stuff. So, but we're moving ahead. We're moving ahead. Not as fast as everybody wants, but we're getting there, and we have a direction. We know precisely what we want done, and we're going to get it done, and we'll move on to the next phase of uh, this project here and get the VHF equipment organized. So anyway, all right, that's what I have for tonight. Anybody have anything more?
When will the antenna be ordered?
The antenna will be ordered the microsecond after two things happen. After the a landlord approval, which I don't think is a big deal, but it's still we can't, you can't do it. And then after a vendor is selected, because then we have the question, well, who's going to order and this is part of the feedback, by the way, who's ordering the antenna? Are we going to ask the vendor to do it, or do we do it ourselves? The vendor will be glad to do it. There'll be a bit of a up price on that, a markup on it. If we do it ourselves, okay. I mean, do you want a package? You pay one amount and you package and it's done, or that's the other thing too. The
Well,
commercial company, soup to nuts, they do the whole thing. You don't have to lift a finger. On the other, with the Central Michigan Emergency Network, it's a little more interactive. I mean, it's going to take a little more organization. There's going to take a little more effort on our part, looking after and stuff like that. I would imagine. I've never worked with them, but I don't know exactly who. I'm working with Fred Moses right now in terms of reaching out to him. I don't even know he's exactly the right guy. So it's kind of we're figuring this out a bit as we go along.
so Joe, if you're gonna go ahead and get a quote from the commercial company for the antenna installation, have them quote the whole darn caboodle, the antenna choice as well. Let them come up there, or usually quotes are free. There might be a little charge, right?
Right.
Let them do the overall readings or get the assessment. Let them tell you what antenna perhaps should be used up there, what their recommendations are,
Right.
instead of saying, "Well, hey, this is the antenna we want." Don't tell them how much it costs. And then they're definitely going to mark it up if you give them the exact antenna you want. If that's not one that they, usually service or install. So if you're going to go the commercial route, if you're going to go apples and apples, yeah, have them quote just the antenna installation and recommendation and site assessment, because
Yeah.
that's what I think you really need up there is some kind of a RF assessment. What other kind of noise is happening up there? If we use the wrong antenna, spend $3,000 for the wrong antenna, you're screwed at that point. You can't give it back once it's installed. So yeah,
Right.
if Sean's not going to be involved in this, like I thought he was originally back in May, we had talked about having Sean involved. You were talking about using the MI6 network. Well, yeah, that's great. Are we going to be obligated now to be part of their link? Do you want to be a link repeater system? And if that's the case, who's going to upkeep everything when there's RF, when there's problems, when there's a station doing malicious intent out there, or somebody not following the rules? Will we be barred from that link group then? Who's going to maintain it? So, yeah, I guess there's a lot of different avenues right now it can go. But if you just want to get an antenna up, perhaps, yeah, have the commercial company quote the whole job and the antenna.
Yeah.
Let them tell you this is what you need to do, this is where it should be put, and this is the antenna we recommend and the equipment we would recommend using as well.
Yeah.
Let's not tell them. I wouldn't honestly submit that list to them at all. Don't tell them this is the antenna we want. Say, hey, we're an amateur radio club. We got a grant. We want to replace our antenna and repeater system atop of this location in Oak Park. Now, they might already have field studies done, logistical studies of different RF factors in the area that might cause interference. There's so much RF around here. We don't want to have to induce or buy extra filtering if you don't need to. So,
Right.
yeah, if you want to let the pros do it, maybe they can give you a quote for a relatively inexpensive price and be good to have to base it off of somebody else putting up the antenna by themselves, or another company.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I want to pop in here.
Go
Now, Mike Cleary, basically talk to them and just over the phone, we don't have enough money.
Talk to who? Who talked to who?
The
Mike
commercial,
Cleary
the
talked to
commercial
who?
guys,
The
the
who?
commercial guys, to do the whole system,
Right,
we don't have enough money.
for the whole system. When did he
That's
talk to
what
him
Al's
recently?
suggesting, have them do a whole turnkey operation. We don't have enough money to have them do the whole system.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. And of course, part of it is we're amateur radio operators. We want to do what we can do. But I think at this stage in our lives, installing antennas, I think we leave that to the younger guys. You know what I mean? The professionals, just to just to do the antenna. That's my inclination, but I don't really know the other people, and it's a little bit. They could be perfectly fine. I don't know. We all come from where we come from, and working from the commercial sector, it's just, I don't know. But anyway, more to follow. But they're going to get the RFQ, the request for a quotation, and we'll get something back from them, and we'll go through it as a group. And again, it's great because it's a tough decision between two, viable, competing organizations. So let's take a look at their offers and let's see where we go from there. And like I said, it'd be nice if these other guys here from MCA, maybe some of them want to join the club. I don't know. Who knows? But we'll see. All right. Anybody, anything else for now? If not, stay tuned. We'll keep everybody up to date email wise here. And that's it. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you next week. Well, hopefully before. Okay, bye.